All right. Hello. And we are going to be talking about conclusions today. I have our ongoing example here of an essay, and I am going to update it a little bit. We're going to be going through our conclusion checklist. I'm going to tell you that conclusions are the toughest part of a paper to write in a lot of ways, at least to do a good job with it. I'm going to tell you that it's okay if you're feeling like you're struggling a little bit, but that's all part of the process. All right. So at this point, I have a nice introduction, and I should have 3 body paragraphs. So I'm going to go underneath my body paragraphs, and I'm going to start a new paragraph. Something worth noting about MLA format is that notice that on the first page at the top, I don't have that header there with my last name. But on this second page, I should come in and I should change this last name to be your last name, whatever it is. And then the page number will automatically be there. So that's good. I have a few goals that I need to know for my conclusion, and I'm just going to make some notes here and then I'll delete them later. So my first goal is that I need to summarize my main points, and it needs to reinforce my thesis, right? I need to move from specific to general. Remember, we're going in the opposite direction than the introduction would take us. So our introduction, we started with general, we introduced our topic, and we got to ourselves, which is specific. We're doing the opposite. So we're starting with ourselves, and we're backing out again and applying it to the world. And then we need to think about so what? What do we want our audience to walk away with? Is there a specific feeling? Is there a call to action? What is it? Remember that there's a few things that we need to not do. We don't want new ideas here. We don't want to say, oh yeah, I also, besides these 3 things, I have something else that I love doing. But we still need to stay on point, okay? So I have a paragraph here, and I need to make sure that I indent, and we're just going to go ahead and get started. So it's going to be a little bit trickier for me because I don't know what the previous sentence was at this. I don't have a body paragraph there. I just have the place for it. You would have your body paragraph. But I need to recap my overall idea that's over my, and I see that I'm in bold. Let's get rid of that. Over my decade of teaching, I have found many rewarding reasons to stick with it. Okay, so I'm still in the same idea, but I'm not just going to start listing new ideas. Nothing new. At the same time, I don't just want to restate anything either. So maybe when you were in high school, a lot of times, or middle school, a lot of times teachers will say, in your conclusion, just restate your thesis. That's not really good writing. It's lazy writing, but they tell you that because there is no one-size-fits-all solution to a conclusion. There's nothing wrong with mentioning your ideas, but you don't need to do it in a formulaic way, such as I don't need to just say, besides helping others, having a good schedule and forever being a learner, blah, blah, blah. But I do want to kind of touch on those feelings, I guess you could say, again. So I may say something like, I am fulfilled by, I see my paragraph is not, there we go. Here we go, and I have an extra indentation. There we go, my formatting's better. Okay. I am fulfilled by being able to make a difference in others' lives while maintaining a good work-life balance in my own. Okay, so if you noticed, without outright stating it, I've talked about helping others and the schedule in this sentence. I've reintroduced that ideas without hammering it all in your face. I'm also going to now mention about forever being a learner. So I need to think about a sentence for that. Education is also a field where the end point of a journey is never reached. There is always a new horizon waiting ahead. Okay, so now I have kind of summarized my key points here. It's time to zoom out and be more general. These are all very specific to me. So what do I want my readers to take away from my own teaching experience? Yours, of course, are going to be different, but mine's about my job as a teacher. And I want more people to consider the field of teaching, right? I want them to have a positive view of it. So I am going to acknowledge, although it seems as if there are fewer and fewer people willing to stick it out in education, I could not imagine working in any other field. Okay, so I'm still not quite at my resolution, but right now, what am I? 3, 4 sentences, so I'm a little brief, and even though I'm zoomed out, I'm not quite, I haven't left the audience with how I want them to feel yet. I want them to walk away from this really considering, even if they are not going to become a teacher, feeling like that the world is changed by them. So behind every successful person was a patient and willing teacher. Instead of willing, maybe passionate. Because it's not about just doing it, it's about wanting to do it. Passionate teacher who inspired them to go out and change the world their own way. I aspire to be that person. I aspire to be that teacher for every person. There we go. So see, I have zoomed out fully. We're talking about all over the world. These teachers have other reasons for being, and people who stick with it and have it really going on make an impact. Okay, I can get this out of here because I have met my criteria with those. And I can go over my checklist. So do I have at least 5 sentences? Yeah, I have 6, in fact. This is a little bit brief as far as it goes, but I am okay with that. There's nothing wrong with it being brief as long as I've hit all my points. Does it include a summary of my key points? Yes, I think it does. I spent 2 sentences working on that. Does it reinforce the thesis statements that becoming an educator is a good profession? I believe so. Do I have general concluding remarks? I think that's what this is right here. That moves from specific to general ideas. I agree. It conclude with a narrative, a quotation, or a prediction. Yeah, this is kind of like a recommendation to some degree, and a little bit of that sort of thing. Does it introduce new ideas? No, not really. And does it apologize for anything? It does not. Does it avoid unnecessary phrases to say like in conclusion? Yes, it does. This seems like a natural way to finish, but it doesn't outright slap it in your face. That was my own personal process for writing one. Now, I made it maybe look a little bit quick. I have a lot of experience with writing, but I'm going to tell you that of all the parts of this essay, this is the toughest one to really feel good about at the end. A lot of times you're just trying to get finished, and it takes a lot of wiggling around, I guess, to settle on something that you're like, yep, that's it. It really ties up the package with a nice bow. I don't want you to stress out about it, but I do want you to do a good job with it. You're nearing the end of your essay. That's all the heavy lifting parts if you've done it all well. There's a few other things that I would suggest doing, but we'll talk about that next time. Like we have some extra information in here that we can take off before turning in our rough draft, testing it, revising it, all that good stuff. Keep working hard and submitting your assignments on time. I'll see you next time.